Evolution begins with a big tree. Chapter 490. After flexing his overwhelming power, Hugh shot a cold look at the neutral beast groups, waiting for them to submit. Witnessing the 9 other dragon snakes' ruthlessness, those who were hesitating were completely crushed by his sheer presence. Just as expected, the Bronze Demon and Centaur tribes decided to hop on board and officially became this master's subordinates. To assert his dominance, Hugh looked into the sky and announced that he had successfully cleared his tribulation. He also dropped a mandatory invite: see you all at the Monster Court banquet in 6 months to catch up. Once he finished dealing with the outside forces, he turned to his inner circle, specifically Nine Tails. Standing right by him, Nine Tails responded with authority, ready and waiting for orders. Hugh's face turned serious and his eyes flashed with cold, killing intent as he issued the order to wipe them out. He declared he would completely annihilate the Underworld Tribe, the Elemental Tribe, and the world's snow. One pavilion within the Milky Way region. This decisive order showed that a massive expansion plan was already in the works. Once Hugh stabilizes his power, the army will strike the major powers, with the Celestial Court being their first target. To prep for the long game, Hugh asked to see Flash and review the Monster Court's records from the past few decades. This was a crucial move for a leader to get back up to speed after being gone for so long. He admitted that being in seclusion for too long had left him out of the loop regarding the universe's shifts. He didn't want any intel errors before the real war kicked off. The scene shifts to Azure Star, where Hugh's beasts are living. There, Flash was moving at high speed toward his master with absolute loyalty. Flash knelt before Hugh the moment he arrived to show his deep respect. Hugh appeared in human form and affectionately called Flash little guy. Flash grinned, genuinely happy to see that his leader had finally returned. Hugh noticed how much his subordinates had leveled up. He quickly realized that Flash had already reached superhuman level 6. Looking up at the sky, Hugh felt satisfied with how much Flash had grown over the years. With his current power, Flash is basically peerless among those at the same rank. Flash immediately reported on the long-standing war with the Celestial Court over the past few years. News about many generals being seriously injured showed just how brutal the battlefield had become. The most notable piece of intel was that the Celestial Court had started using Emperor-grade weapons. Even if their power hasn't fully awakened yet, they were still a major wildcard affecting the balance of power. This news forced you to stop and think things through carefully. He realized the Celestial Court might possess more Emperor-grade weapons than he initially thought. Flash continued his report on the development of space gate technology. These pathways have now become massive gates that allow for rapid travel between different sectors of space. Realizing their importance, Hugh understood that this was a massive strategic advantage over the Celestial Court. Mastering these gates would allow the Monster Court's army to deploy their forces much more flexibly. Hugh ordered the absolute protection of the space gates, and Flash accepted the task with deep respect. To get a clear picture of their strength, Hugh checked the list of subordinates who had reached level 6. The top names included Nine Tails, the Emperor Crocodile, the Ice Flood Dragon, the Golden Monkey, the Thunder Giant Dragon, and the Monster Phoenix. The final member of this level 6 group was the Eight-Headed Serpent, a significant boost to their overall power. However, Hugh noticed a familiar face was missing, and asked about Old Nine's situation. He couldn't believe that a genius like him hadn't leveled up yet. Flash's hesitation made it clear that Old Nine's situation wasn't looking too good. According to the report, Old Nine had been stuck at level 5 for years and spent all his time just staring at the scenery on the mountains. The image of Old Nine quietly gazing into the distance created a thoughtful pause in the story. Hugh just responded with a light chuckle because he already knew what was up. He told his subordinates not to worry about Old Nine's slow progress in cultivation. Hugh firmly stated that, in the future, Old Nine would surpass everyone else. This was a prediction of Old Nine's power blowing up after a long period of laying low. Flash listened in silence as his master confirmed they just needed to wait for the right moment. Snapping back to reality, Hugh looked down at his beast army and declared that the time for revenge had finally come. The atmosphere got incredibly tense, ready to explode into a massive war at any second. Every single beast was fired up and ready for a fight. In the crowd, Azure Steel was quietly waiting to carry out his master's every command. The golden spotted butterfly also showed up, proving that all the races under the Monster Court had gathered. The Shadow Tiger tribe stepped out looking fierce, making it clear just how much pain the enemy was in for. Meanwhile, the Elemental tribe was still focused on their training, totally clueless that disaster was knocking on their door. On one of their planets, a massive blue entity began to stir. It formed a giant face, and angrily demanded to know who these intruders were. Tension spiked when it realized the figures in the sky belonged to the Angel tribe. The leader of the Angel tribe arrogantly declared that the war had officially begun. The blue entity immediately unleashed its power and lunged at the enemy. At the same time, massive explosions rocked other planets belonging to the Elemental tribe. Panicked Elemental tribe members tried using their treasures to send up SOS signals. However, their hopes were crushed by a devastating punch from the enemy. That single blow killed the messenger instantly, showing a massive gap in their power levels. The one who just made that move was none other than the first divine pillar. He casually pulled his hand back like he had just finished some mundane task. He looked down coldly, and stated that any attempt to save them was already way too late. In the Earth Elemental sector, Flame Fury felt a sense of dread as he saw multiple distress signals popping up. He realized their tribe's communication devices were flashing non-stop with emergency alerts. This only happened when they were facing total annihilation. Flame Fury's expression turned grim as the scale of the problem sank in. He was completely freaked out when he saw countless orbs lighting up at once, signaling an all-out invasion. Suddenly, a massive pillar of golden light slammed down from the sky right onto Flame Fury's position. Amidst the white smoke, Flame Fury stood frozen under an insane amount of pressure. His eyes widened in shock when he saw exactly who had just shown up. The Angel King revealed himself with a mysterious smirk. Flame Fury couldn't believe the Angel tribe was launching a direct hit on his people. However, the Angel King's response revealed an even scarier truth. This wasn't just a move by a single tribe. Standing behind him were the heavy hitters of the Angel tribe and the Heaven-Slaying Alliance. This great war is bound to get a whole lot more complicated and unpredictable